There are three things a man must always be doing in his life. Number one, he must be thinking. The head is not for cosmetic purposes. Do not shave it and make it look nice, and yet the content inside is cheap. Don't measure on the cosmetic looks of your face. Measure on the cutlery of your mind. For the quality of a mind is far much better than the cosmetics of a mind. There's nothing as embarrassing as a well-dressed up man who speaks rubbish. When the lights are off, try and keep the door closed. Darkness is a way of showing up through your teeth. Develop your mind. You know, when you look at what a man thinks about and the quality of his thinking determines the quality of his life. Therefore, there are times when you must shut up and think. There is a time where every man must think. Use your brains for thinking. And also number two, which is the first H, the head. Number two is the second H, which is the heart. I like what the gentleman said. Have time for passion. Have time for gentleness. Have time for being nice. And show them and push a toy car with your boy. That could be the only thing your boy would remember, which is nice that you have done for them. So take your time also, guys. Be passionate about certain times. There are times when you must think and have ideas and etc. But next to that, develop a heart that is passionate, where you also can say, I am sorry. I'll show you something tonight that will mess up your relationships forever. There is no man who is listening to me tonight who will ever be shouted at by a woman ever again. Yeah, so you have moments of the heart, which is the passion side. Develop your heart to love, to care, to touch. And sometimes, my faith, sometimes it's not about talking. Just shut up and listen. Hello? Shut up and listen. If you don't know how to shut up, ikakufa secret. Drink some water and don't swallow it. Let her talk and talk and talk until she finishes. Because sometimes, honestly, they're not asking you because they don't have the answers. They're not asking you because they don't have solutions. They are not crippled, these people. They are normal. While they're asking you, they know exactly what they want to do. They just want to hear your opinion also. So sometimes it's not in the amount of advice you give. Shut up and listen. Shut up and listen. And when you cannot afford, don't replace things with things. Replace things with yourself. Replace things with yourself. Let's go. Replace things with yourself. People are not looking for presents. People are looking for presents. They are not looking for presents. They are looking for presents. So don't be in the business of always giving out presents. Have moments of thinking. Number two, have moments of passion. Number three, have moments of action. That is your hand. That's a simple manual, yeah? Think about it, feel about it, and then do about it. Now you're you know. And don't do about it when you don't feel about it and you have not thought about it. If you felt it when a woman says they miss their periods, the balls shrink. Is that true? All of a sudden, hey, I missed my period. Because you allowed the brains to move away from the top side to the bottom. And of course, they say when the head is not working, the head does not work also. But that's for another day. But to try as much as possible to make sure what you are doing with your hands, your head has processed it. And your heart has also processed it. I'm going to build you a house 5 years ago. I'm going to build you a house 3 years ago. I'm going to build you a house 1 year ago. Where is the house? It's in the pipeline. Hey, wait, cut the pipe. You can't be thinking and planning forever. There must be a thinking, there must be a feeling, and there must be a doing. Let me give you a secret, good people. many of us were in trouble. We talk too much. You overpromise and underdeliver. You would rather underpromise and overdeliver than overpromising and underdelivering. Is that making sense? That's phase number one on how do we process ourselves as men. We need men with brains. Number two, we need men with hearts. Number three, we need men with hands. And having said that, you need to know where the head must work, when and where the heart must work, when and where the hands must work. Can I leave that for intelligent people? And every man in the morning when you wake up, you must make sure that you visit those three departments. Visit your mind. Unfortunately, some of you who take more, you are there less of the times, but when you come back here, visit your mind. Visit your mind. And once every day, visit your heart. Come on, visit your heart. Hug your child. Kiss them if you can. Hold them if you can. Visit your head, gentlemen. Visit your heart, gentlemen. Visit your hands. That gives us the first section. Second section. Put your hand on your head again. That is your farm. Come on, say, this is my farm. I'm going to farmers of thought now. This is my farm. Put your hands on the middle line and say, this is my farm. And then step on the ground underneath you and say, this is my farm. There are three estates every man has when he is born. The first estate is the estate of the mind. What is the quality of soil do you have between your two ears? What is the quality of ground do you have between your two ears? Of all the wars that have been fought on the face of the earth, the biggest of them all is between your two ears. It's people fighting over the estate of your mind. To own what you think. Because when the face is beautiful and the software is not working, hardware always suffers. And he who controls the software has ability to control the hardware. This is a private property, no illegal immigrants, no 99-year lease. This is private property. Private property. Unfortunately, our generation, amongst most of us men, particularly those of us who have gone to school for proliferation, academic, sharpening, and etc., we are the most disadvantaged. Because we have been so educated away from ourselves. We have become like the other. We have become coconuts, brown on the outside, white on the inside. Therefore, our ideological mindset is no longer in touch with our bodies and our melanin nature. That's why many of us who have been to university and back, we drink from 15 to 18s to 25s. We've learned the finer things of life, caviar and sushis. We want to have life on the softer end of it. And at the end of it, all the beauties of life. You make so much money in your life and spend your retirement in hospitals fixing all the mistakes you committed while you were still young. If I could be a preacher, I would say, young men, enjoy the days of your youth as much as you can. Just be prepared when you get old, you pay back for everything that you committed. The first estate is the estate of the mind. How do you think? What quality of thoughts are you processing? What kind of crops are you planting in your mental farm? And he who plants in your farm has permission to harvest from it. The one you have given permission to work on your farm has got the right to come and harvest from it. And if you have put illegal plans in your mind, you can't harvest anything different. There's no way you can send your children to Caesar and they don't come back as Romans. Where did you think, how did you think this was going to pan itself out? And if we are not careful in the way in which we assist each other, to think as men, we may not go very far, because the software that we're using, it is a corrupted software. And in many cases, that software does not relate to us as Africans. The second estate is the estate of reproduction. It also grows grass, like the other land on the top side. It also grows grass. This other one is a different kind of an estate. It's the estate of reproduction. Every man, when you hold your balls, you are holding your ancestors. This is a library of your history. This is a palace of your tribe. This is the history of your nation. It cannot be for entertainment. When we waste our time peeing semen on stones. When you hold your cable in your hand, you are connecting generations between the past and the future. It is in your hands. Before you plant it on some soil, make sure that the soil is fertile. Many of you are in big dangers because many of your children are in plastics in the parking lots. Many of your ancestors are under the bridges. And many of your ancestors are in brothel toilets.
That's a bad one.
When a man holds his connecting cable in his hands, it is a conversation of time. The infiniteness of the past, the possibilities of the future. You are here to connect ancestors with destiny. You will be a fool if you pull out your cable and you're drunk and you don't even know or see what it is that you are eating. And your entire nation is there to witness and see you becoming an irresponsible grandchild. Then we tell you, can the real witchcraft is irresponsibility with the seeds of generations that are trapped inside you. How can you give a man, number 3, the land underneath his feet when he does not own the land between his ears and does not own the land between his legs? How do you give a man land underneath his feet when this man is not in control of the land between his 2 ears and the land between his legs? This whole COVID story we are fighting about, it ends up as the war of estate between our legs. Who has the right to reproduce? Who has the right not to reproduce? Which seed is superior to the other? This whole agenda did not start now as early as the 60s. Birth control has been conversed here. There are protocols in the United Nations, in Africa unions on contraception, marriage stops for abortions and etc. What is new today? And until the African is in control of his reproduction, he can never be in control of his land. Because the white man has already made it possible that he is not in control of his brains.
Thank you, Bishop. Thank you, Bishop. Thank you. Tell us.
We needed to start developing a generation of Africans who can stand up and say, we as Africans are going to own our minds. Information, education, harvesting indigenous knowledge systems, coming together as Africans, owning the value chains. Brothers, where's the cabbage? Omungwe agabule a shop in town where the cabbages are being sold. Omungwe agavule takeaway where the cabbages are being bought. Create a value chain. And we move our money from one hand to the other. The Jews do it 7 times amongst themselves. The Indians do 4 to 5 times. The Africans, 15 minutes. The money comes to the location, it disappears. High blood pressure, part of being men. We cannot always be gathering when we are buying Jack Daniels, when we are buying Shivas. You do 4 bottles per week, that is 4,000. 4,000 by 4 weeks, that is 16,000. If you it's 4. You can buy yourself 4 calves per month. Tell me after 52 weeks, how many cows would you have? And next year, you don't have to buy. You can do your shivas while your cattle are reproducing on this side. It's poverty of mind. It's poverty of mind. That you can drink a 4,000 rand bottle of whiskey and then go to the toilet and pee at past. Like honestly, in the morning.
Gone. Gone.
You are done.
Gone.
And then what next?
Nothing.
The estate of the mind is important. Schools are doing that, but we also hope that elders in the community must step up to the game. The estate of reproduction. We used to have schools where young boys and girls were being taught how to become men. Unfortunately, those schools are dying. They're being replaced by pornography, by video games, by other things where our children are now learning new trades of running their own lives. But above everything else, until the African is in touch with this land, poverty remains as your middle name. We don't need land, not only to plow food. We need land for housing. We need land for mining. We want land for food reproduction. We want land to access our sacred sites also. We want land because we don't own our land. Our land owns us. From it we have come. To it we shall return. If an African does not own his land owns him.